or three places we can put you into, like we can categorize you, right? So the first category of mobile development is native development. Native development. So it's a first part of um, mobile development. It means that when you can build mobile applications in a native way, with native languages. So native developers like myself, I'm a native. I started my Android career with native development. Before I started working for a company, that's 2019. Started, with native development. So what I do is, so if you are going into native development, there are two languages that we use for native development. We use Java and Kotlin. I write both Java and Kotlin. So that's for native. It means that if you're a native developer, all the applications you build as a mobile developer, or as a mobile developer rather, runs on only Android, please. So you need to, I'm just giving you this intro. So when you go out there, or when you are trying to talk to people how you started your career, you'll be able to really expatiate on what you started with and all. So mobile development with native or native Android development means that when you build your applications and you run them, they can only work in on Android phones alone. Samsung, Infinix, Techno, all Android devices we have in the world, your applications will run smoothly on them. So that's why you are a native developer. And the languages you write or you learn in native Android is Java and Kotlin. Those are the two languages you learn for native. And don't forget, pick something. If you have your Jotas or you have your Notepad, native developers build applications that run only on Android phones, Android devices, smart Android watches, or Android TVs rather. Yeah, your applications can run anything Android. That's Android OS, the operating system. Your application will work there. So that's for native. And then we have iOS developers. iOS developers that build applications that run only on iPhones. That's iOS environment. They are developers. So when you are an iOS developer, it means the applications you run or you build rather would only work on iOS environment. So you can't bring the application you build as an iOS developer and then you bring it to the native world and then you expect it to run. It won't. It will throw errors, of course, you are getting into an environment where you don't even understand their language. I mean, you'll be confused. So that is just it. So iOS development is the second category, and the languages iOS developers learn for them to become iOS developers, or the languages we learn to become iOS developers include Swift. We have Swift. Swift is a programming language. We have Objective C. Those are the languages I'm quite aware of that they use for iOS development. And then the third category is the cross-platform, or what we call hybrid. Cross-platform or hybrid. So cross-platform, as the name implies, means that you are building applications that run simultaneously. Just one application, just one single code base, one set of code, one design pattern, one this, one that, but it works both on Android and iOS. That's cross-platform or hybrid. So it means that when you take your application, bam, and you take it to a native environment, it works. It's just like you speak English, right? We speak English in Nigeria here. If you go to the United States, like you could easily flow, right? Because they also speak English there, right? But if you speak English and then you go to France or another country that English is not the official language, you have communication issues. So cross-platform is, it means that you build applications that run both on Android and iOS. And what languages do we learn for us to become cross-platform or hybrid developers? The first language we learn is Dart, D-A-R-T, and the framework, of course, is Flutter. So that's why we are we are learning Flutter. But the language, the programming language itself, when you tell someone I'm a Flutter developer or I'm a mobile developer, I do Flutter, then the language, what tool would you use to build your 100 applications? The language itself that your the computer understands is that DART, and that's what you'll be learning this evening. So Flutter is not the only cross-platform language. We also have React Native. Most of you that have experience with JavaScript, you will discover that there's something called React and then React Native. So React Native is also a cross-platform language, which means that with React Native, you could build applications that will run on both Android and iOS. So that's for React Native. There's also one that I think a friend of mine that works with Sterling Bank, they use Xamarin, Xamarin. Xamarin. It's also a cross-platform language. It's built on The language itself for Xamarin is C sharp. Yeah, it's built on C sharp. So if you know C sharp, you can easily transition to Xamarin. If you know that DRT, you can start Flutter. For React Native, if you know JavaScript, you can start React Native. So those are the categories. First, native Android with Java and Kotlin. Second, iOS with Swift and Objective-C. And the third one is cross-platform or hybrid with Flutter, React Native, and Xamarin. Yeah, so those are the categories of mobile development. Please, any questions so far? Let me just take one or two questions, opinion before we move next. Yeah, so any question? Does anybody have question? If you have question, you could just mute and then ask your question. Thank you. Yeah, any question? Okay, I'm just asking now, so we take question per phase. So it's not when we are done, you're trying to say, oh, I remembered I wanted to ask this, but I forgot it. So as we move on, just ask a question. I'll be allowing questions, or I'll give room for questions, and then you could just ask. So any question, nobody is signifying. If you want to ask question, you could see the raise hand option where you just raise your hand, and I'll just allow you to talk. So any question? Okay, it appears that nobody has question. So those are the categories of mobile development. Yeah, I'm giving you a breakdown, and now we are learning Flutter. Okay, so next, learning objectives. What do you want to learn this evening? What do we hope to achieve at the end of this evening's class? What do you want to take home? What do you want to have in our bank of knowledge? So introduction to that, that's the first learning objective. Hello world in that, variables and data types, comments, important concepts, and take-home assignments. So these are the this area of concentration, like we would see. This is what we want to focus on this evening. Of course, there are so many concepts in that, but we'll start little by little. So this is what we hope to achieve this evening. Yeah, this is what we hope to achieve this evening. Introduction to that. Should be familiar with why that, what is that, and of course, hello world. You know, that's the beginner step for every programming language. Hello world, and then variables and data types, comments, important concepts, and then take home assignments. Yeah, so these are the learning objectives. So let's move quickly to introduction to that. Okay, that is an open source object oriented programming language developed by Google. Yeah, open source programming language, open source object-oriented programming language developed by Google in 2011, which can be used to build mobile applications, server applications, and desktop applications. Yeah, I would quickly explain so you have an understanding of the statement here or the words here. So when you say something is open source, it means that you give room for contributions from all over. Everybody has access to contribute. Oh, this code base is open source. You can come in. This one, it's not hidden. I mean, so many softwares, so many technologies that we use are open source, like Linux. I use Linux. This is my computer that you can see my screen. I use Linux OS, not Windows or Mac OS. I use Linux, and Linux is an open source tool as well, where people different part and all. So that's open source. So it means that contributions from different software engineers, it's open source, and it's object-oriented programming language. Everything in that object, you talk about object-oriented, objects, classes, object classes, and all. It's built around so it's built around objects, programming language, object oriented. If you are doing, if you are new to programming language, then all these things might sound strange to you, of course, but I'm just trying to be more practical as I am in the best way I can. So object oriented means that we talk object classes, and all. And of course, programming language, it's a programming language. It's not just a language, it's a programming language. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Someone wants to manage admitting students for me. Sir, Lisa, you want to say something? Is someone managing admitting students for me?
Yes, I am. I am.
Yes, I okay.
All right, all right. Anybody can, any of the tutors can. So I will not have to be coming back to this page and then be back and forth on this app rather. Okay, yeah. So programming language, it's a programming language, of course. I will still discuss what programming language is, what a programming language is. Developed by Google, we all know Google, and then which can be used to build mobile applications. So I already explained that. With that, you can build mobile applications. Applications that run either on your Android, iOS environment, server applications, and desktop applications. So when you ask me what are server applications or applications that run on the server side, because something server side and backend, things that you can't see, Yeah, we have front end, server side, and client side. Client side is more like what we call front end. Back end is more like what we call server side, what you can see. So you could also use your DAT to build server side applications because you can compile that to JavaScript and then to run on the server. So, and desktop applications, we all know desktop applications, different kinds of desktop applications. Yeah, so we could use that. These are the possibilities with that, things you can do with that. So since then, the release of Flutter SDK, what SDK means is software development kit for iOS, Android, and web, has put a new spotlight on the Dart language. So everything now has SDK, software development kit, kits for Android, kits for iOS, kits for web, everything. Now, like dependencies, libraries, different libraries coming together. When you have different libraries, like a troop of army or soldiers coming together with different weapons. Yeah, so that's the SDK. You have different libraries and all of those things. So coming together to form the software development kit, and then which makes it easy for you writing the code, and then it now runs on all of these platforms here. So that's just a quick intro about that. That, don't forget, is an object-oriented programming language. It's a programming language, and you know what programming languages are. You need to talk to your computer, you need to talk to a platform, you need programming language because program, yeah, if I'm to explain, program is a set of instructions. So when you write the program, your codes that you write, they are sets of instructions, and your computer needs to be able to decode those things. Yeah, so that is a programming language, an object-oriented programming language. Yeah, developed by Google. Yeah, so that's all about that. And then let's quickly move to hello world in that. Now that we have seen intro to that, what that is, just a basic, a very basic. I don't intend to take to make things so complicated because I assume most of us are beginners, or if you are not new to programming, at least you are new to Flutter, or if you have been trying stuff on your own. I just want to make it so basic. Yeah, so hello world in that. Yeah, hello world in that. How do we write our first program? How do we run our first program in that? Our first program in that. Okay, so quickly, I'm sure you got links for the different installation, the setup guide, what you should install on your laptop. So if you have your laptop with you and then you have your VS Code installed or IntelliJ IDE, any IDE you are using. By the way, IDE means integrated development environment. That's IDE. So when someone asks you that, what IDE are you using for Flutter, you could say you are using VS Code, excuse me, or IntelliJ. Yeah, so IntelliJ IDE. So that's IDE. It's an environment where you write your codes, your programs, and then it understands. So I believe if you have the software installed, if you're having issues installing any of the software, maybe that on your VS Code, you need to go to market extensions, look for that, search for that, install it so you can write your program and then it will work well. So if you don't have that for now, don't panic. You could use the online version of IDE, just an online platform that was built. You just navigate to your browser, just type that part. So I want to use the online version. I don't want to open my IntelliJ. Okay, I was doing demo for some students last week. Okay, so we have this is what you see when you open that part. This is what you have, that part, so it's blank this way. You see that part, you can write your code here. You see run. If you have your VS code with you, it's not bad at all. It's not bad. Okay, so let's start. Once you write our first program in that, if you are using VS Code, you would name your program maybe hello world, then dot that. That's the extension. So your ID will be able to know that, oh, you're writing that, not JavaScript, not HTML, not CSS. So dot that should be added to your program. You create a new folder. From new folder, create new file and name your first file anything hello world dot that, first program dot that. So that's fine. Okay, so let's see hello world in that. How do we write our first program in that? So when we're writing a standalone that script, our first program, it should have the main function, which must have a return time. So I'll just explain this to you. It will be practical. You see the slide. I'll navigate to the browser. I would get our hands dirty. So the first entry point for any that script or program starts with a main function. This is the main function. This parentheses and curly braces. So I would explain this to you. Void main. This is what you need initially. This is what your compiler needs at the entry point of every program. Main, main, and parentheses. And then this void means that when something is void, is absent. It doesn't have a return type. When your main function, does not have a return type, you use void. Of course, So don't worry, we are still coming to functions later in the part of this training. We explore more, but basically, this is just what you need to get your program up and running. Void, take notes, is case sensitive. Is not capital letter V, is small letter V, and main is not capital letter M, it's not capital M, it's small letter M, parentheses and curly braces. So this is what you need for your first program. Void main. And then if someone asks you, why do you write void? Void means this main function, this main, because it has parentheses, this is a function. This main,
Sorry,
because,
I have a question.
yeah, go ahead, please.
Uh, is this the 3D mobile app, as in 3D animation and stuff class?
No, sir. No, sir. You entered the wrong bus from Unilag to the place. This is
Because when
Flutter.
I'm seeing but the link I clicked is for 3D. How come the thing brought me here?
Wow. Okay, could be that the conductor actually misled you, but I think this is Flutter. Actually, this is Flutter. So I probably you just have to check your Microsoft Teams, check for the adequate. Each track has their own meeting link, so go check again. This is Flutter mobile application, not 3D, sir. So
Okay, thank you.
yeah. Okay, yeah, so I'm sorry about that. Let's proceed. Yeah, I'm on that part. Any question, please? Anybody wants to say something quickly before I proceed? Anybody, if you are with your laptop, you could just open that part. So you just code along, or you just see what I'm doing, and then later on you can practice stuff on your own. Okay, so back to that part. So I'm here, void main. Don't forget I said this is case sensitive. Don't put capital V. Let's try things out. This programming, get your hands dirty. See what I've written, void. Can you see this, that part? Underline this for me. And then you wrote something, undefined class, void. So it doesn't recognize this. So I'm using the small v. So void main, this is fine. So we want to write our first program, hello world. So void main, you come here and put print, the parentheses, then inside the parentheses, you have the first program, hello, welcome to ECX internship, internship. Yeah, so then at every when you're done with every statement and all in that, just like JavaScript, you have to terminate it using the semicolon. So this works. So I'm done here. I want to run my first program. Can you see the model? The first thing is I have a main function which is void. It doesn't have a return type. Void main parentheses, then curly braces. Inside this curly braces is where I have my print hello world. I want it to print something to the console, an output. So if we take this one now, okay, let me run this first. Let's say the output. Let's see what it's going to print to. So at the right hand side, you see something called console. So it's going to, can you see the output? Hello, welcome to ECX internship. Wow, fantastic. So we have just written our first that program. I was thinking someone would be excited. Hello world, it's always freaking when we just started out some Android mobile development back then coding. Yeah, when you do something, print hello world, you're always excited. Yeah, so this is the first point. Hello world, this is how you do hello world in that. So let's just tweak things. I love to play around stuff to get my hands dirty. I always want to try new stuff, right? So let's remove this semicolon and then let's see what happens. In case you omitted it in your statement, your code, what could be the problem or the outcome or the output rather? What will be the output of the program at the end? So let's run this and let's see. You can see error. If you are using that part, if you are using VS Code, it should try an error as well. Error compiling to JavaScript information, saying us compiling with sound and null safety warning, blah blah blah. At the end, can you see error expected? This that part is so sweet because it's showing me expected semicolon after this. They pointed me to the statement. Actually, if you are using VS Code will tell you the line 10 of your code is having this or you omitted this. Do you understand? So that's just it. So it's pointing that, oh, I omitted semicolon. Yeah, so we are done tweaking something. That's the first part. Now the second part, I use double quotes in my parentheses inside this place. What I want to print out is inside double quotes. What happens if I don't put it in double quotes? Let's just assume I want to do hello, welcome to ECX internship. I'm removing the double quotes. What will the compiler see it as? What will happen? Let me run this again. Can you see hello expected? Okay, yeah. So many error inside is showing this, that. Like this is not expected to find quotes. like a statement. I want to print log something to the console, so I need quotes. So now the next question, the other time I used double quotes. What happens if I use single quotes? Of course, it will still run. My program will still work, right? So let's go. Hello, welcome to ECX internship. ECX internship. I'm just trying to walk you around, when you're trying new stuff, what are the possible errors you can get? Can you see it work? So it means that you should pick something from this from this part of the program that accepts both double quotes and single quotes. When you are logging something to the console, of course, it sees it as string and then it brings it to the console. Yeah, so that works fine. Okay, print. Of course, we want to print something to the console. That works. So this main, let's add capital letter. Like I'm just trying to walk you through possible errors. Maybe you were typing fast, you told your friend that I've learned Flot that come and do demo for me, and then you're trying to write your application. What are the possible errors you can have, or possible things that you might have omitted? And then how do you debug? How do you check your code and know where the fault is coming from or where the fault came from, as the case may be. Now I've changed this to capital letter, so let's see what will happen here. You can see same thing, no main method found. So it's not saying my compiler. There's something called compiler that does the background processing. Compiler, it sees this language in English and then compiles it to what the computer can understand or what your processor will see. So it's telling me that no main method found. So there's no main method or function found. Don't worry, we're still coming to method and functions. Yeah, so it means that this is wrong as well. Main needs to be there. Method called main must be there, and then this will work. Void. What will happen if I change this to capital letter? So it shows an error. So that's just it. So you need to be very careful when you're writing your that program. Any questions? So we are done with the first part, which is hello world. In that you can see the sample. I could share this slide with you if you actually want it after in the class, so you can just go over and then just click on it. You can say I wrote a sample code here, void main print hello world, and then don't forget to terminate your hello world statement here. You can see, so this works fine. If I run this should work. Hello, welcome to CX. So if you want to print many things at the same time, you could do that. You can print many things to the console, so many things to the console. You can have it printed, duplicated many times, and then you run it many times. You can print different things. Hello, my name is this. You can say to print it, so long you are using this print, which is a built-in function in that your print. So yeah, we are done writing this. It doesn't have a return type, that's why it should be void. Of course, print statement is a built-in function in that can be used to display a result to the terminal. So that's why we are using this print. Yeah, this print, yeah, print is a built-in function in that. Yeah, so we have just written our first program or first that script. Yeah, any question anybody wants to ask, one thing or
Hello.
something? Yeah, hello. Okay, yeah,
Thank you
sound is
very
raising.
much.
Like, man, yeah, you ask a question.
So on the first line, I can see that we have a void main. Is what's the function of the void mains that we have at the first line?
Okay, yeah. Okay. I won't answer that. I want to ensure someone has been following in the course of this discussion. So one of the team members would answer, and then if there's anything I need to add, I will add. So who goes there to answer the question? Anybody wants to say something? Okay, I would love Anibaba Afsa to say something about that. Void main. Suleiman is asking why we have void main at the first line of the program. So could you please tell Suleiman why we have the void main there quickly, please?
Okay, from what I understood, you said the void main is meant to be there for the compilers to the understand what to do. So the void main is for anything you want to run in that. The void main, you have to put it there. That is what you need to run the code, and then it returns nothing. That's why it comes with the void. That's all I got from what you said.
Oh, good stuff. Thank you, Afsa. That's a very nice one. Yeah, you picked something. It means you've been following another person. Yusuf, yeah. Yusuf, you tell us what your opinion is about void main. Yeah, quickly.
For every program, you have to have a main function. Then the
Okay.
void that precedes it is the return type. Since it's not returning anything, we're only using it to print the hello statement.
Oh yeah, good stuff. Thank you, Yusuf. Yeah, that's perfect as well. Void main. So let me just take one more person to just ensure we are all in the class. Okay, who has a very serene environment there? I think Abdul Basit. Yeah, when you introduced yourself, the place was quiet. So could you say something about it? Are you there?
Okay, yeah. Void main method is void main function is the function the compiler call when you run your code.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you are well spoken word. That's beautiful. It means you've been following. So, Sulaiman, can you before I ask you for your opinion, you have understood your thing. Yeah, they've said it all. Void main. Your compiler must see the main function there, and then the reason for the void is that it doesn't return. There's no return type for that function. Doesn't or method doesn't return anything. We're just printing statement. It's just generic something. You are printing something to the console, so it's not doing anything. But then what happens if I change this void main and then let me put int main? Let's say the return type is integer. Let's just change it, like it's not void that is before it. Let's just change it, like just get your hands dirty. Don't put int safe. Just put void. What other word can we use? Let's use absent absent main. Let's just run this. Let's see what happens. You can see it's already trained our guy. What's absent main here? Like, where is absent coming from? Like, it's not found. Yeah, so can you see now? So for every main function, if you are just printing something to the console, you have this void main. So this is what the compiler sees, and then it runs. So every of your program might not be, don't worry, when we get to functions, you might not name your other functions main. No, you can name your function anything. Sleep, sleep in the morning, like sleep at night. You can name your function anything. Eat rice, that's the name of your function, but your program must have this main function. Like, the main function must be declared where the compiler says, oh, there's a main function here, then I can obey it. So yeah, so Sulaiman, back to you. Is that explanation explicit enough? Is it clear?
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so that is the first part of the course. Hello world, that we've seen that in reality. Let's move to the next part, which is variables and data types. Variables and data types. Variables and data types. So now let's talk about that. That is statically typed programming language, which means that we have to specify what kind of data a variable can store, but that can also infer data types. Don't worry, I'm going to explain this explicitly so you can understand. Okay, so when we say that variables, what do we mean? What do we call variable? Let's cast our minds back to when secondary school or primary school, when our teacher will tell us, there's an unknown variable called x, there's an unknown variable called y. Literally, those variables, when your teacher gives you simultaneous equation, find x and y, those x and y's that we solved for many years ago, or we are still solving. For those of you in sciences, still have to find x somewhere, somehow find y. Those things you are looking for, they are actually holding a particular value, because at the end of the day, when you solve the equation or the expression, that x that your teacher asks you to find will have a value, right? So you can say at the end of the day, x is 3, x is 4. X will always have a value. So because it is holding a value, that is why we call it variable. So variable, in more broader concepts, I can say a variable is like your tin of milk. That your tin of milk or the sachet nylon that holds the milk content, that is variable. So we can assume the tin of milk to be a variable. It's a container. It stores value. It holds value. So that x that you solved for when you're in SS2, so I've gotten my answer, x is 3. That x is a variable because it holds a value. That's just it. So that tin of milk, which is a container, is a variable. Why? It's holding a value. So that is what variables are. So variable is a container that holds a value. I hope that sinks, like you're able to see it like picture it in your mind. Anything that holds value in programming language, you're assigning the value to, okay, it's just like you are sharing biscuits. Oh yeah, Abdul Salam, take this one. Basit, take this one. Like everybody, so you are, in that sense, you are regarded as a variable. Why? You are holding a value. So that is what variable. Same thing in programming. Variables, they actually hold a value. They hold values. So that's what variables are. So we are coming back to data types. Variable. So now a variable, don't forget, all variables always hold a value, right? All variables will hold a value. Now, what happens to a variable that decides not to hold a value? What happens to that variable? This variable said, I'm not holding a value at all. I don't just give me any value because I won't hold. So what happens to that kind of variable at the end of the day? Variable that is not holding any value. What do we call that kind of variable? So in programming, we say in that a variable without a value has a null value by default, like null. Back to set and Venn diagram. When a set is does not have elements, we say it is null. It is null or empty. So when your variable does not have any value, when the compiler says that variable, this one does not have any value, it regards that variable as what we call null, 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 right? So null, that is just what the variable is regarded as, null, null, null. So that's just it. I hope that sinks. A variable that holds a value, all variables tend to hold values, and then the one that refuses to hold a value is regarded as, it has a null value by default. Yeah. So that's just variable. I've explained what variables are. So by the time you start programming, you start coding, you want to do calculator, I want to build this one, I want to build. So by the time you start doing, yeah, I want to do 2 plus 2, let my x be 2, let my y be 3. I'll now say x plus y, 2 plus 3 equals 5. All those things you are doing, those operations you are doing, they are variables that hold each of the values, all of those values. So that's what variables are. Quickly, then we move to data types, right? Data types. Now, your variable in that, of course, that when you have a variable, yeah, so each variable in that or any programming language has a type. What type? Like, what type is your variable? So every variable in that has a type. And what do we call the type? Like, what type of variable are you? When you speak English, you say what type of noun or what kind of noun is this? Is it common? Is it proper noun? Is it what type are you? So each variable, because that's what in the long run, it is the type of the variable that would distinguish one from another. All variables cannot just have the same type in this world. No, we cannot. In this world, we cannot just all be blacks. No, it's not possible. So what type of when you go to America, some people say they are black Americans, they are white guys. Yeah, that's their type. So when you see this guy, a black guy, you cannot say a black guy is white American. I used to have a friend that the guy is dark in complexion, and they call him Oyibo. It's just like irony. You are dark in complexion, like back of pot. His own type is that he's dark in complexion. That's his type. So when you say when you want to refer to that guy, when you want to refer to the guy, you say bring Isaac is dark in complexion. That's the type. That's his nature. So each variable would always have a type that we use to recognize them. Oh, this type, this variable is of this type, this variable is of that type. Like, that is just it. So so that's each variable in that as a type that must be known when the code is compiled, and the type cannot change when the program runs. Yeah, although in reality, in the real world, most people are changing from dark complexion to light skinned, and from light skin to Igbo, like bleaching and all of that. But it means that when you are dark, you are dark. When you are light, you are light. Like, that's just it. So every variable in that has a type, and that type, when you compile it, you can't change. Like, at that point of compiling, you can't change the type. Yeah, you can't. So each type, two things: variable, a container that holds a value, and a variable without a value is null. And each variable now has a data type. Yeah, what type? So now, what are the types we have in that? Quickly, we'll run through that, and then we'll do some demo, and then we're gradually coming to the end of this lecture. Yeah, so the data types in that, what are the types of those variables that we can use? Yeah, we have built-in data types for every variable. We have numbers. That's numbers are categorized into 2 or 3, as the case may be. Integer, double. Yeah, integer. I'm still going to explain all these things in broader light. If you check, if I scroll down, you see that I picked each of those types, and then I did a demo on all of them, so you would understand, yeah, clearly. So here we are here. Number is a type. So when you say variable, this variable like is of type number. So when the compiler sees this one is number, okay, relax. This one is this one. So that's it. So number is the data type. We have string. Of course, we are still coming to explain all of these things in broader light. String is a sequence or group of characters. A, B, C. We're taught A to Z in primary school. Then from A to Z, we start making words. ON. on, like that. We started grouping words. So those things became string. When you bring different characters to form something, we call them string. Boolean, yeah, Boolean, true or false, 1 or 0, plus or minus, no, 1 or 0. It can either be true or false. It can either be 1 or 0. It can either be positive or negative. Boolean. And then we have lists, we have maps, etc. These are different data types in that. Yeah, so that is that brings us to the end of just a quick explanation on variables and data types. Any question before we now do? Let me start from numbers. Yeah, let me start from numbers. Then we'll move to string. Yeah, so anybody wants to ask question based on what I've just explained on variables and data types? Any question? Let me just take one question before we proceed. Yeah. Okay. Any question? Anybody wants to raise hand? Hello. Can anyone still hear me, please? Because I'm not saying this.
Yeah.
Hello? Okay, okay. I was scared. I thought I had just been talking to myself. Yeah, so okay. After said she can hear me. Any other person? So any question? No question. I assume question. Okay. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so no question. Yeah, okay, let's proceed. So now let's pick each of the data types, right? And then let's apply them to different variables. Okay, so join me as we move. Numbers. Number is a data type for every variable. So numbers in that are used to represent numeric literals, as the name implies, numbers 1 to 100, 1 million, trillion, uncountable million, as we said back then, and all of those things. And now they are divided into two, integer and double. Now, integer is a data type used to represent non-fractional values, that is numerical values without decimal points. Can be represented with int. So integers, what are integers? Positive 1 to 100, negative 1 to 100. Those are integers, numbers without with non that represent non-fractional values. They don't have decimal points, not 1 point something. No, just numbers that can stand alone. In mathematics, we call them whole numbers. Whole numbers that are standing alone. Whole numbers, yeah, not numbers to two significant places, or just whole numbers. So that's the first category of the data type. We have numbers, and then we have double. Double is the data type used to declare fractional numeric values, that is values with decimal points. So when you start having 2 point something, 4.7, this point that, like that, we have double. So these are the, so now let's do a quick demo on how to use, I would explain how to use a variable, data type for that variable. And don't forget that variable will always hold the value, right? So let's go. Yeah, let's move it quickly. So I'm going to clear all these guys here and then do a quick one. Okay, yeah. So let's start. Can anybody give me a name of a variable? Don't forget, the name of a variable is what we call identifier. That's what your compiler will use to identify the variable. So you can name your variable anything so far as holding a value. You can name it age, you can name it school, name of school. Okay, so let's go. Okay, since we want to work with data types under numbers, so let's start. Age, we can call our variable age. We can call it GP. Okay, yeah, we can use GP, my GP, since it's number. What else can we use? My age, my account balance. Okay, so let's start. I want to call my own variable account balance. Okay, yeah. So this is the name of the variable. I've given my, like, account balance is the name of my variable. Now this account balance, what data type is it? What type? I need to tell, like, my compiler. I want to just, since it's statically type, or it can still infer. We are still coming to those ones. I want to tell my compiler that, hey compiler, this account balance that I have here is of type something, data type something. So since my account balance is in whole numbers, like now I'm assuming that my own account balance is in whole numbers, like fraction, integers. So I'll just come here and put int. So what we have just demonstrated here, this int is what we call the data type. Yeah. Account balance is what we call the variable name or the identifier. This one is one that is going to hold the value, right? So this is just practical. Variable, data type, value. Okay, so now this is our own variable, account balance. It has a name. The name is the identifier, what I'm using to identify it. Oh, account balance. Then integer is the data type. Of what type is this? Now I want to assign the value to this account balance. I want my account balance to hold the value for me. I want to tell the world that, oh, hello guys, my account balance is this. This is my account balance. I want to show the world what I have in my account. Okay, so to do that, you assign a value to it to hold the value. And what do we use to assign the value? Assignment operator, as we call it in programming, assignment operator. Don't worry, we are still coming to operators. We're talking about logical operators, assignment operators, comparison operators, and the like. So equal to is an assignment operator, and then I will say 3,000. So this is what I have as my account balance. So 3,000 naira, is this 3,000? It's 3,000 I have left. Sakpa is owing me now. Okay, so 3,000 naira. Yeah, this is so what I've just done here is I've declared a variable, and then I've given that variable a value to hold. I didn't just give it I didn't just declare a variable without giving it a value for it to hold. So now you can see what I've done. Int account balance equals 3,000 naira terminated. Now let's go. Then I come here to the next line and say print compiler. Please can you print, what will I call here? It's very easy. The variable name or the identifier. I'll just tell the compiler, please, I want to know my account balance. Please just show it to the world that I'm really broke. So I'm showing you guys on this tutorial that I'm really broke, and this is what I have left in my account. 3k 3 for the rest of next week. Yeah, so let's go, let's run this. So my program is fine. I have my data type, the variable, the value, then print account balance. Now can you see what is happening here? Is this actually correct? Is actually I'm having a line here. What is happening here, right? Okay, so let's see how this runs. Okay, account balance is not defined. Okay, so let's try to run this, and then we just debug together. We know where the problem is coming from. Oh, undefined name, account balance. Okay, yeah. So here we have account balance 3,000. It's not saying it, like it's not defined. Okay, so taking us to this slide here, we have this int. Don't forget that an integer is a data type that represents non-fractional value. We have this, we have that, and then we have this one. So here we can print any of this variable. Yeah, we can print it. So we'll go back to our data pad and then we try to figure out what is wrong. So I have int account balance equals 3,000. Can someone tell me why it's saying it's not defined? Quickly, anybody wants to say something why it's telling us? Normally we are feeling it should run. Why is it telling me, oh, okay, maybe if I put this on, I put account that is going to make it run or something, like why is it not running? So why this, why this, why this? So yeah, anybody, even our account is still saying it's not defined. Anybody?
Yes.
Okay.
The spelling of our account when we are declaring the variable is
Yeah.
ACOOUNT.
Thank you.
Then we are printing ACC.
ACC. Thank you. That's a very good one. So it's not saying it. So I intentionally removed it. That if you keep changing all of those things, if you remove the balance, if you remove like, you just need to know why it's not saying it. Of course, it's needed to see, but then it's not saying this ACC. So these are common errors that you can make. I'm just showing you in reality, so you can be able to say, oh, this is why it's showing an error. So the way I spelled my account is different from what I'm calling here. That's why it's actually showing the error that is not saying it. So you could name your variable, name anything. If there's spelling, if it is misspelled, we are calling it wrongly here, it won't still print it to the console. It shows an error. Okay, so I correct that. So you see that's a nice one. So account can still, you can see if you may expect this correctly, what happens? You remove the error. So if you come here and put balance too, which is fine, this one will still try an error like this. So that's just programming for you. Keep trying to see why you should have a problem or why you add issue. So I have account balance here. Oh, I omitted a balance. Okay, so yeah, let's go. So I want to print my account balance to the world. Let everybody see what I have in my account. 3k. Can you see 3,000 naira? So that's just so this is what we have demonstrated. Integer, we have done this, and then this works. So what happens if I want to print, okay, what I have in my account and what Yusuf has in his account, let's add the two and then let's print it to the console. We could do that normal mathematics. You can say int x, yeah, you can say int x. Maybe I will call my own account X 3K. That's what I have in my account, 3,000 naira. And then I have a guy on the call, Yusuf. He has money. So I'll come here and say, okay, because if Yusuf has money, I want to just do normal mathematics. I'll call Yusuf Y, and then equals, or you could put the name to still run. He has 500,000 in his account. Okay, then I come here and say, okay, what am I going to do? I want to add the two. I can still come here and still do normal int. I'll just assign it Z, and then I'll tell Z that, oh yeah, come and add my X, and then give it to me plus Y, and then I terminate this, and then I come here to say, oh yeah, integer, what will I call? Print Z for me. Let me see the addition of these guys here. Okay, so if I add the SUS account balance and my own account balance, what am I going to have? What should we have? Okay, so let's see. Can you see it added the two for me, and then I have the total account balance 503 500 503,000, like that. So that's just it. So this is just basic stuff with integers. So is that fine? Any questions? So we have tackled integer. Let's move quickly to double. Yeah, double as fractional, declare fractional numeric values, decimal points and all. Okay, so let's go. So with double, you could do something like this. So double my GP. Okay, let's say someone's GPs are always in decimal point. They have decimal values and all. Maybe someone is scholar 5.00 is scholar. Okay, we have GP to be this. Then I will come here and say, oh yeah, Prince compiler, tell the what GP I'm currently writing, and then I put my GP here, and then bam, this happens. Then I'm done. Yeah, looking at this program, can someone tell me if what this program would do? First, I need you to look at the program well. Will it run? If yes, what will I see on what will the compiler show me? What will the console show me rather? Yeah. So can we quickly check that? Will this program work? If yes, what value will appear on the console? Yeah, quickly. Okay, let me call names. I think some people will be scared, shy. Okay, we have a new guy here, Shubuki Emeka. Emeka, are you there, please? Can you unmute and tell us if the program will run? If yes, and then what is going to happen? Yeah. Oops, Emeka is not there again. Okay, who else is there? Who else has not spoken? Kola Oli Daniel, are you there? Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, yeah, Kola Oli Daniel. So
I'm
can you tell
here.
us?
I'm here.
Okay, also here, Emeka. Oh, sorry about that. So Emeka, can we have you, please? You have not spoken since we started. I guess you just joined because of the program. Okay, so Emeka, can you tell me if this program will run? If yes, you first tell me yes or no. If yes, what will I have on the console? Yeah, quickly.
Okay. I think it should run, and
Okay.
it should print 5.0, I guess.
Okay, so Emeka is saying
Just
this
hear me.
program will run and it will show me 5.0 the GP. Okay, thank you, Emeka. Victor, Daniel rather, Olawale Daniel, can you tell me if this
Yeah,
program
yeah.
will run and
The program
what's
won't
value?
run.
It won't run. Why?
Yes, because of the curly braces.
Okay, because of the curly braces. Okay, then so it means if it doesn't run, then there will be no value. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's what Daniel said. Let's hear from
I didn't
someone.
see it.
Oh, you didn't see it. Sorry. It could be that Daniel is wrong. It could be that only Daniel is wrong. It might be that he's not even seeing the correct thing. So let's not just assume Daniel's answer is accurate. Let's just hear one more person and then we'll move. Okay, who has not spoken yet? Or someone else, Yusuf has spoken. Oh, there's okay. Have someone here. Olaoluwa, Toki Olaoluwa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Oh, good stuff. Welcome to ECX. Okay, so with this program we run,
No.
why?
The normally because of the collie bracelet, the main function is not complete without the collie bracelet, without that last collie bracelet.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, in the reality or in reality, this program won't run because the curly braces, the closing one is missing. So when you run this program, apparently it shows an error that, hey guy, I don't understand what you're trying to what you're trying to say here. So let's include that, and then let's have something here. So let's see what happens here. Run this compiler quickly. Oh, 5. Okay, so we have 5, not 5.0. We have just 5. So this is the double running. Like we have this double. We've seen double. We've seen this. We've seen integer. We've seen double as well. So this is data type. Can you see what I just wanted to demonstrate here is just that we have a variable name. You can call it anything. Identifies unique, your GP, age, my name, this, my that, my, like you could call your variable anything. I mean, and then you define, and then you have your data type, and then you have your value at the end. Yeah, so quickly I have to speed up now because I planned by 6:45 we are done with this meeting. Okay, so what happens if I don't put integer or double? What happens? There are times, like I said, that will easily infer the data type, like it will know systematically that, oh, this guy didn't add. But then what happens if I need to run that? Like maybe I just want to tell this thing that my GP is double or something. What happens? So you use var keyword. Okay, so you are saying var variable var my GP. So yeah, you can see I'm not putting the data type, and then it's still running, like still coming and say var age equals 23, 22, 21, and then terminate this, and then still come here to say print age. Yeah, so and then close this. You would see what will still happen, that this will still run because the compiler knows that, oh yeah, this is the data type you're trying to, it's infers. So we say that that is type, it has this type inference. It will infer the data type, like it will know for you. So that's what that can do for it. It will know that, oh, you didn't add the data type, but at compile time, oh, so for so long you add this var, it will say, okay, oh, since you didn't add the data type, me I can know, oh, 21 is a number. That's your compiler will know that, oh, 21 is a number, this one is this one is that. So that's just by the way. So we're just trying to play around like this. These are just basic stuff, right? Okay, so we have talked about numbers. Let's quickly look at strings because I have to speed up now. Okay, so let's look at strings. Yeah. Okay, so let's have this. Let's have this. Let's have this. Can you guys still see my screen, please?
Yes, string.
Okay. Yeah, so strings, right? So strings represent a sequence of characters. That I said that earlier. That's when you are bringing different characters together, like A, B, C. You're using it to form different words, and all we easily call that one string. It's not a character anymore. So with that, string is it represents sequence of characters. And for instance, if you were to store some data like the name or an address, the string data type should be used. So you want to write, you want to tell someone, your compiler, that you attend University of Lagos or Obafemi Awolowo University. So because you have sequence of characters coming together, you will most likely use string as the data type. Yeah. So string values are embedded in either single or double quotes. Yeah. So let's quickly run a demo. Like let's just say that in reality, let's see what happens, what that line is saying. That okay, yeah. So I want to do something string. So I'll just say string. I want to put the string name of school. Name of school. Yeah. So it's what this tutorial is saying is your name of school can be in either double quotes or single quotes. We'll run the two and then we'll see them. So name of school. Okay, what's the name of my school? University of Lagos. Okay, University of Lagos. Okay, yeah, I'm need this. And then you come here and say, okay, compiler, can you please print the name of my school? Let the world know the school at the name of school. And then you terminate this. So let's go. Let's see what happens here. Okay, let's see University of Lagos. Can you see? So this is string, the data type, name of school is variable, then the value this name of school is holding is University of Lagos. Let me do another one to see string string name of faculty. Name of faculty. Okay, name of faculty, faculty of meats and department of suya. Okay, so if I have, okay, let me see the name of my faculty of, okay, so you come here, compiler, please let me see the name of my name of faculty, faculty. Okay, yeah, so we have this. So let's run this now. Let's see what happens right there. Oh, what I wanted to demonstrate, I've not demonstrated it. I wanted to use one as single quote and one as double quote. My bad. Okay, so yeah, I'm removing this now. So I'm adding this. So it means that you could either use single quote or double quote. That will still accept. Then you move on. Yeah, so that is it. Do you understand? Can you see that it works fine, right? University of Lagos, Faculty of Meat, Department of Suya. Okay, so that is just it. That's pretty much it. Okay, so you could say, okay, you want to print, tell the compiler to add name of school like University of Lagos and then the faculty together. You can do that operation too. Yeah, it's possible. We are still coming to that. That will be the next question I'll ask someone, and then we'll move to the next phase. Okay, yeah. So any questions so far? Anybody wants to ask me a question based on what I've just said? Yeah, any questions so far? Let me check people on the call. Let me see. Any question? Any question? Anybody? Okay, so that's strings. We've seen that string, the data type can work either with double quotes or single quotes. And don't always forget to terminate your statements. You terminate it with semicolon. If you remove the semicolon here, something happens to the entire script or program. Yeah, it tells you that, oh, sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. So, okay, yeah, semicolon, this is fine. It works well. Okay, so now I want to add University of Lagos. Like I want to print to the console, both University of Lagos, Faculty of Meat, and on the same line, I want to have everything printed to the console. So who will tell us how to go about that? Okay, let's see. Let me see who is on that call. Okay, yeah. Who have I now call? Okay, Afsa, are you there? Can you tell us what you think we should write? What line of code you think can make this work? I want to print both University of Lagos and Faculty of Meat like on the same line, like as a statement, as a string.
Sorry, I've not been able to, I can't see the console. I can just see the slide because I'm using my phone. So it's not clear, it's blur here. I'm just managing to follow along. I can't see it clearly.
You can zoom it.
Yeah, I've zoomed in. I'm using my phone.
Use your hand to zoom. I'm using
Isaac,
phone as well.
please zoom
Screen.
your Chrome. Yes, zoom your Chrome, please.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, my network dropped. Anybody still there? Yeah. Afsat, you were saying something. Sorry.
Yes, I
Okay.
can see where you're saying but
Okay, it's quite it's tiny, right?
it's not tiny, it's just blur. The letters are blur.
Oh, they are
But
blue.
I'm using my phone. That's probably
Oh,
fine.
okay. There's a way you should be able to zoom out on your phone. I think that works. Okay, anybody that has that can.
Isaac,
Yes,
you
sir.
can
Yes, sir.
zoom your Chrome.
Okay,
You
okay.
can zoom your Chrome so
All
that it will
right.
be better. Yeah.
Okay. Zoom Chrome
Now,
zoomer.
your
Yeah.
phone screen can also be zoomed too. You just do the normal zooming on phone using your hand. It is working here. I'm using my phone as well.
I've,
Okay.
I've zoomed in.
I think there's a way out. I've been able to sort that here.
I
Okay.
see better now.
Is this fine? You can see better now, right? Okay. Yeah. So I have this. Thank you, Mr. Our team lead. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So you can see it now. So what do you think? I want to have this on a straight line, like a statement printed out. So what do you think I should write? What line of code do you think I should write? Please.
Statement. Two variables, the two statement.
You say what?
Your question again, I'm sorry.
Okay, I
Make
said I want
it
to
very
have. Okay, I want to have University of Lagos, Faculty of Meat, Department of Syria, everything printed as just one statement, like just one statement printed out, just one.
so you can use the plus sign or use interpolation and using interpolation. That's the dollar sign.
Okay, and use the dollar sign to do the interpolation. Okay, okay. This stuff looks like you're quite experienced. Okay, any other person wants to say something? Yeah, that works. We'll try that now. I just want something quite basic, not we're not using string templates now or all of some advanced stuff. We're just doing basic stuff. Let's just have it the way it is. Yusuf, yeah, you want to say something? So Yusuf, what do you think we should write here that will make this work as a single line statement? Yeah.
I think we can still use our plus sign.
Okay, so
Like
how does it work?
for the print function, you can say
Okay,
print name of school
okay,
plus
okay. Print name of
then
school plus.
to add the space in between, we can enter a space into a quote.
Okay, a quote this way. I'm following Yusuf.
Yeah,
Are you
then
there?
plus name of faculty.
Plus name of faculty of faculty. Okay, yeah. So let's see what Yusuf suggested. Let's see if it works. Fine. Yeah. Okay, so let's go. Yeah, that works. Fine. University of Lagos, Faculty of Meat, Department of Suya. But something is happening, Yusuf. Can you see that it's joined the
Yeah,
two
you
statements
didn't add the
together?
space
Yeah, I didn't add the space. There's supposed to be space here, and
between the
then this should.
quotes.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so this works fine. Yeah, this works right. So we have this, so you could just do some basic stuff around it. So you could, we are coming to some advanced stuff. This is just a beginner class, so I expect I will just do quite some basic stuff, right? So that's just it. So this is how you could do it. There's another route. If you like stress, you can come here and say you have another variable that will now hold the addition of the two, and then just call that variable directly. That's another route. You can name faculty, and then you call it this plus this, and then it adds, and then you just call it once and for all, then you're fine. So that's just all for strength. We're just doing some random basic stuff. Because in the real world, let me be very sincere with you, in the real world, when you work for a company or you work as a software developer, you're not coming on your ID, your VS Code or your Android Studio to be writing name of school, name of faculty. That's not what you use to build real world applications or live projects. No, but it's very important to know the basics. Like, so when you're doing string concatenation, you're doing string templates and the likes in your code, you will know that, oh, this is what this one is trying to do. Yeah, so that's just, but in the real world, I mean, you're not coming to be doing print this one in your app and all of those things. So that's just an enlightenment. I just wanted you to see that these basics are quite important that we talk about them before we move on. So let's move to, we've talked about strings, we've talked about numbers. Let's look at Boolean. Let's look at Boolean. Let's look at Boolean. Okay, so Boolean, what are Booleans? Booleans, the Boolean data type represents true or false. Like I said earlier, it's either true or false. It's either it's raining or it's not. It's either you go to school or you drop out. It's either you make a first class or you don't. Like, it's just it works in real life, right? So it's either you do something or you don't. You can't stay on the fence. You can't say, I will drop out and I will still go to school at the same time. No, so that's why we have the Boolean, which means that you can make choices, options, true or false, one or zero, positive or negative, this or that, this or that. It's how you read or you sleep. It's how you watch football match or you eat. So like that. So that uses the bool keyword to represent a Boolean value. Yeah, bool. So that's just like we use int. And please take notes. This thing I did emphasize on this thing. These things are case sensitive. Can you see my string is capital letter S? If I remove this and put small letter, you will see what will happen. It sees this as not a the built-in data type, right? You can see string error is not. In fact, I love that part. It's telling me the error here. String isn't a type. Like, you should just tell it to your face. If you want to be angry, be angry. If you want to break your laptop, break it. This young man I have here is not a type. It's not a data type. So how do you make it data type? Use the correct naming convention, spellings, and or you need to watch out for these things. These are basic things that you should watch out for in your early journey to all these things. Okay, so boolean. Let's do some stuff with boolean, around boolean. Okay, so it's that we make choices, right? True or false? Is it going to rain? Yes or no? Is it going to do this? True or false? Okay, so okay, let me just do quite a basic stuff here. So I've done, or I did string name of school, University of Lagos, string name of faculty, Faculty of Meat, Department of Suya. Okay, let me check. Let me just do a check. Oh shit. Okay. So let me just do something. Instead of this plus, since I'm not printing the same thing, I can just check if they are equal. Okay. So I want to check if name of school is equal to name of faculty. Let's see what is going to happen. If it is equal, what will compiler tell us? If it is not equal, what will compiler tell us? So let's see what happens here. Can you see false? This is boolean, a boolean operation. So because it's doing what we call comparison operator, this equal to equality sign, we have two of them, which is comparison. It's trying to compare the first one and the second one. So here, name of school is not equal to name of faculty. Obviously, we can see it. So that's why it's returning false. If it is equal, it returns true. Now let's check if it is not equal. Not equal to, let's check this. And then can you see true? Not equal, exclamation equal to. So I'm saying is name of school not equal to name of faculty? Like, that's, if you want to read this line of code, line 6, you will say that is name of school not equal name of faculty. True or false? And of course it's true, it's not equal. But the moment you remove this exclamation and then you add this, you are saying name of school equals name of faculty, which is false. They are not equal. But when I come here and then I do something like this, of course it becomes true. Yeah. So yeah, so that brings us to the end of boolean as a data type. Any question quickly? Just one question or observation or comment. Yeah, quickly, and then we'll take some other things and then move on. Yeah. Okay, nobody's asking questions. I assume you have assignments at the end of all these things. You have assignments. I'll create assignments for you that will be submitted. We'll grade your assignments for progress and all of that. So just watch out. You have assignments. So that's why you need to learn fast. You need to put your heart to it. You need to ask questions, please. And there's something my mentor would always tell me when I started the programming journey, that if you are failing, fail fast, please. So that's just it. Fail fast, learn quick, fail fast, learn quick, fail fast, learn quick, fail fast. So ask questions, get clarity, and move on. Okay, yeah. So we've talked about Boolean as a data type, number, string. We're coming to list, and we have maps and all of those things. Let me quickly talk about. Okay, so let's talk about lists. Let's talk about lists. Okay, lists. Yeah. So lists have what is list? What are lists in this? We have that provides a list class which is used to construct array-like data structure. I just feel this is a bit complex, really, because we'll be doing something like talking about array-like. So it's more like I'm going to skip this and then we'll come to it later on, like later on in as we proceed, because I don't want you to just get too many concepts and you're asking what's even the array, what they say this one is, what they say that. But I'll just show you a demo so you see it. We have that provides a list class, but the ones I've taught you very well that will be very applicable in as we move on so quick is booleans, numbers, and strings. So I'll just do for list. So list is like we use it to construct array-like data structure. Array, it holds different values like inside an array. So it's value like data structure that can hold a fixed or variable number of similar or dynamic data types. It is also regarded as ordered collection of objects. Lists can be categorized into fixed list, length, and length list, and variable list. Okay, let's see how this works. You want to hold some values, and you could have lists. So list. Okay, yeah, I'm just trying to do a demo on what I said earlier. Okay, this one. Results one. Oops. Okay, let's got this one thing. Okay, so let's print them. So I'll print into the console. Okay, let's print them results to the console. So this is just basic stuff. So I'm trying to do list. So I'm going to explain how it works at the end of the day. It's just an operation I'm calling list three. Oh, yeah, new list. Oh, couldn't find constructor lists. I think lists. New lists. Yeah. Okay, so we have this. Let's see how this works. Yeah. Okay. So this is just list. I'm going to run this now and then we'll see how it works. But basically, let me just explain this operation. So what we're trying to do here is just that we have an array like, don't worry, as I said earlier, that this concept is just a bit complex and all. But then I'm still going to explain. It's just like you're creating an array list, an array like data structure. You're creating an array like data structure, and then it's holding value. All these things you are seeing in this bracket, in this square bracket, they are what we call the index. I'm using this index number to call this. So I have this one, like I have this actually, I have this kind of list. So I'm saying that for the array that is having this index 0, please call this one. For the array that is having index this, please call this one. For the array that is having this one, please call this one. So that's just what I'm just trying to do. Okay, so let me not just make things complex. Let me just use var here. Since I have, it says that results. Yeah, okay. So I have this is this is data. Let's run this to see how it works. Let's still train an error where we have an error. Okay, okay. New lists. This should work. This should work. This should work. Saying that okay, can't change the default list constructor. Oh, oh. So I've seen this. It's saying you can't use this default constructor. Okay, so let's go. Let's correct this quickly. Result equals this. Okay. Oh, this dat is not saying the is not saying this new keyword, which is the constructor. I don't know why it's not saying it. This should work like demo. This should work. Still trying the error. Okay, so would actually come back to this. I've seen why it's not why it's showing that error. The list, the new list. Okay, so that's just all about list. We still come to that, and then I'll figure out why on my VS Code why it's going to work on VS Code. And yeah, it's not working. Okay, quickly the class will end soon. Comments. We talk about comments in programming language. Of course, we talk about comments. Comments in programming language are always ignored by the compiler, right? So when you write the comment, when you add the comment to your code, the compiler sees it and then it ignores it, like it runs away from it. Basically, it runs away from it. Like, oh, I'm not going to compile this. So when you have your comments. When you write comments, the compiler ignores it automatically. So what are comments? Comments are important, or why do we have comments? They're important when writing codes, and they are in this category: single line comments. They are denoted by with this double slash symbol, and multi-line comments that are denoted by this. Okay, so let's write a simple program and then let's pass comments. Let's see if it's going to work. Let's see what comments are quickly. Let me just do a demo for that. Okay, I'm going to clear this. I'll come to this. Let me comment these guys out. I don't know if this guy supports control/. Okay, yeah. So what I've done here is I've commented this whole code out. Can you see double slash, like / this way, be backslash, whatever you call it? I've commented this out. So this is what we call comment, double slash, and whatever you write here is not seen by the compiler. So if I run this now, if I run this code, let's see what is going to happen. Can you see what happens to our console? Can tell me what just happened here in our console? Anybody?
It's empty because you have commented everything else.
Yeah, it's empty. So the compiler is seeing that every statement written in there, they are all empty. All the statements, they are all empty. They are all empty. Like everything, just empty stuffs. That's so the compiler doesn't print anything out to the console at all. It doesn't. So that's just it. That single line comment. So it means that okay, oh, let's I want to do something basic, right? So I want to print. Okay, let's say I want to print my name. So I'll just say print. My name is Isaac Folarin. Okay, so I want to tell the person reading my code that what I just did is to print my name. So I'll put comments. I'll just say this the next line prints the writer's name or developer's name, as the case may be. Okay, so let's see. Let's run this and let's see if it's going to work. Let's run this and then Isaac Folarin is the only thing that shows there. Now the compiler already ignored this / because it sees it as comments. You're just trying to communicate something or another. So that's just comments. Yeah. So we also have multi-line. This single line comment is just on a line. Let's talk about multi-line comment. What's the format for a multi-line comment? You have / or backslash, asterisk. Yeah, that's the format. Then asterisk and backslash again. So everything you do is inside this line here. Everything you do. So you can say, oh, okay, so I have this. I want to this works / asterisk when you get so when you open that part, the line of code, like you want to write like long statements, line of code you see was written by Isaac, by the author. Okay, then you put stake on this. Yeah, so let's run this. Yeah, can you all see what we have? The compiler still ignores all these long statements that I wrote here. The compiler still ignores everything. So that's what comments are: single line comments, multi-line comments. Yeah, questions quickly. We are coming to the end of this session. Questions before I just talk about conclusion, and then I'll talk about how you get your assignments, and that'll be all. Yeah, quickly. Any question? Random based on how we started so far and what we have done so far, how we started, and all random questions, and then we're fine. Yeah. Okay, so since absence of no questions, before I take the conclusion and then we're out, let me allow any of the mentors or tutors to just say one or two things as regards what you've learned today and Then when I'm taking my conclusion, I'm going to tell you one or two things you should hold on to as well as you go home or as you go tonight. Yeah. So let the lead tutor for the track say one or two things. Mr. Olisa, are you there?
Um, okay. So yeah, basically, you can see that isn't really uh, difficult to learn. It's very easy, and yeah. So I just have one comment to make, though. I think I might share my screen for this. I think it was. Hold on, let me just get this ready. I think it was because of the list. Sorry, because of the list. Just hold on, getting that ready. Uh, okay. So let me see. Okay, so is my screen showing?
No, not
Not yet.
yet.
Okay, hold on. Okay, is it showing now? I think it's still loading. Is my screen showing?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so you can see my screen now on
Yeah.
that part, yeah? Okay,
Yes, yes.
so
Compiler.
in case for the list, let's say you want to give a list, I'll be talking on the um, uh, fixed list and variable list. So let's say you have a variable uh, first list, sorry, first list. Um, so this is how you call lists in that. Yeah. So let's say you want, okay, let's give some values to it. This is an list full of integers. Yeah. So let's say you have a first list 3, 4, and 5, and maybe uh, you want to call first list. You want to call 3, 4, or 5. How do you do that? So in this list, there's what we call index. So in programming, we start counting from 0. So 3 is actually 0. That's the index. 4 is actually 1. 5 is 2. So let's say you want to call 3. How do you do that? You just simply do print uh, first list. Sorry, first list 0. So this should print 3 in my console here. That's how you do for the second one. Let's say you want to print 4, go on to do 1. That will be 4 here. Just like that. So let's say you want to have a gradable list. So you can also make first list gradable. Let's say you want to add an integer to that list. What you have to do is just first list dot add 6. And what this does, it just adds 6 to this first list. So if I want to print out first list after this, sorry, hold on, first list, yes, let's get rid of this. Yeah. So let's say you want to add 6 to this list. This is how you do it. This add function adds, okay, you can see it here, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's how you make fixed list and variable list in that. You just make use of the add function. It's a built-in function in that. You just do first list dot add and you get 6, whatever you put inside here gets added to the list that I declared earlier. So that's all I just want to talk about. Thank you. Yeah. I hope you got that.
Okay.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. If someone wants to ask
And
them question, after, can you ask a question quickly before we end?
fixed lists and variable that when you create a default list without using the dot add method, that's a fixed list. Then if you use the dot add method, then it becomes a variable list. I think
Okay, so what I said was that um, this variable first list is a fixed list. So if you want to do anything with this list and you don't need to add any more values to the list, it becomes a fixed list. But when you need to add a particular value to a list, it makes the list variable. So like this now, we have the length of this first list is 3. It has a length of 3. But if you want the length to be 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, and initially you just have 3 length, the length of the list is just 3, you can do that by using the dot add method in that. It makes it growable. So it's not like it's a variable, it's growable. So we have growable lists and fixed lists in that. Did you get that?
thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right. So guys, yeah, so that's just it. Thank you very much, Mr. Olisa. Yeah, I was thinking I would do that in a very broader, like we talk about lists like as a concept, a class on its own, list maps and some other things, because we'll be building something very soon, like a project and all. So that's fine. That's awesome, basic and easy. Okay, so that brings us to, I don't want to exceed the time frame, so we just have 7 minutes to go. And yeah, so that's in conclusion, we have seen in that basics, yeah. So we've learned basics, that syntax you could play around, but the best way to get better in coding, like some of you already know, or if you don't know, is to practice more, get your hands dirty, sit down with your dartpad or your VS Code, try more things, change things. Don't just look at, oh, this example, that's how it should be forever. No, just try more things, change variable names, change their values, try more stuffs, and then that's how you get the best, and that's how you become better. Just get your hands dirty. That's the word. Get your hands dirty. That's practice. Spend time practicing. Spend time thinking of concepts and all of those things, and then you sure get better. Yeah. So that will be all for tonight. Thank you for joining in today's session. Yeah, I'm still Isaac Folari, and then we still have some other tutors, and then we hope to see you next week by God's grace. Yeah, next week again, same time. I think, or the time we will communicated on the channel, just follow the assignments will be sent to the Slack channel. So ensure you are glued to the Slack channel. The assignment will be there. If you run into any issues, just feel free to ask questions, and
Uh,
then
uh,
okay.
yes.
Sulaiman, you're saying something.
Yes, I have a question. Please, can you take us through how we can get to this DAT window in our VS Code?
Okay, okay. That window in your VS Code. Okay, yeah, VS Code. If you need that in your VS Code, let me show you a demo. Let me quickly open my DAT. I don't plan this should waste much time. Let me open my VS Code rather. So you have your VS Code on your system already, yeah?
Yes, I've opened it.
Okay. Okay, sorry, just let me do something. Okay, I'm sorry, don't mind all these guys here. Yeah, let me just close them up. What we're just focused on is if you open your dat your VS code rather, and then let me walk you through how you can get to it. So I'll create a folder inside my desktop folder. Let me call it that that's ECX training, ECX training. Yeah, so I've created a folder around to have all of those guys. So I come here, then here you see from your open editor, when you just open your VS code newly, you see open file, go to open folder, and then it prompts your folder. Then you look for the folder you just created, ECX, okay, and then it opens a blank. That's how you create your VS code. It opens a new folder for you. Can you see? Okay, so this is a new folder. ECS training is the folder. You can collapse it and open it back. So when you come to ECX training, if you have not installed that, you need to install that. First off, in your VS code, you go to market, that's extensions here. When you click extensions, it's tell you that search extensions in marketplace. Simply type that DART. Okay, of course. So once you type that, now you have that installed. So DART, this is it. When you click on it, you will see the install button, install that extension there. So what it does is when you name any of your file dot that, your VS code, you see it. Yeah. So that's it. And also ensure you have installed the dat SDK. So you must have installed that. And then if you are using Windows, that has to be in your environment variable. Like there's a bin folder, blah blah blah, all of those things. Can send a link to you on how to install that SDK. But once you have your that SDK installed, and then from your command prompts, if you are using Windows, just go to that um hyphen version. You see the version of the dat, yeah, with the dat SDK. So that means that is already installed. But coming back to your question, if you want something like that part, so you just come here, ECX training as a folder, new file. So I'll just say hello. That's the name of my file dot dat DART. You see what happens. Hello dot dat. You can see. So this opens here. It means that the extension has been installed in my VS code. I can come here and write void main this main function, and then I can still come here and say print okay, print hello ECX. Save it first. You have to save, VS code, you need to save your code. And to run this, you can use control backtick, or you can come here and put click on terminal, new terminal. If I come here and put new terminal. So I'm in this folder, you can see desktop slash ECX training. So I'm in that folder. I use Linux and all. So you can just come here and see that's hello dot stats. You're calling that file, and then this should, you can see LOECX print this to the console. So if you're using VS Code, you should have a demo, something like this. If you add multiple lines, print, what do you want to print? Welcome, welcome. Okay, close it, save it again. Just come here, use Linux, so I can page up and so that's just Sulaiman, is that clear? So this is VS Code in
Yes,
action.
thank you.
Okay,
Thank
you're
you very
welcome. So
much.
that brings us to the end of today's class. So practice. You see assignments and ensure you practice and then you get better. Yeah, so thank you for joining in tonight's session. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Good night and have a good night. Yup.